All right. So, Brianna, how are you
Yes.
today?
I'm doing well. It's actually like it's kind of like a special day today because
Yeah.
we don't have school and it's like in the middle of the week. It's called like day zero in our school. And I don't know, like the teachers have like a meeting or something and they just let us go home and do our own work and stuff. So,
That's quite a good day for this then.
yes, it is actually.
All right. And when you say school, you in high school?
Yes, I'm in high school. I'm in my
Excellent.
last year of high school.
Very good.
I'm in Quebec, so we would call that like secondary five. Yeah,
Okay.
after I'm going into next.
Okay. Very cool. And what do you most enjoy about secondary five?
Hmm, what do I most enjoy? Um, I would say I do like my friends at school. I do like having like my friends to hang out with, I guess. School itself, I wouldn't say is like the most enjoyable thing. I mean, we do have a lot of work. I go to a private school, so we have a lot of stuff to do. Like today, I have a little list of things I have to do, and I would have to like get those done. I already got a lot of it done before this meeting because I wanted to get as many things done as possible before like doing this. I don't know. I'm like that sometimes. And um yeah, but like I like lunch times, break times, I guess, and yeah, my friends are
Okay.
funny, so.
Do you belong to any clubs and societies?
Um, I I used to go to cadets, but I wasn't a big fan of it, really. Um, like they always say like, oh, you need your uniform to be like super sharp and like you need to
Mm.
be like sharp and stuff all the time and I don't know. The the whole environment of cadets was never really interesting to me, but I got put into it because it's good extracurriculars for like later on in the
Yeah.
future. So, yeah, I went into that.
Very cool. Um,
Hmm.
okay. So in terms of, let me see, what do you like to do for the future? Are you looking to go to university? Are you looking to sort of go straight into a career? What would you like to do?
I'm planning to go into CEGEP, which is the next level on top of that, and complete my 2 years of CEGEP and then go to a university to maybe go into medicine or something of the sort. But the thing about medical school and like dentistry school and things like that is that I'm not necessarily interested or like passionate very much about healthcare and like this whole helping people thing about it. But I do know that it gives a stable life later on and that it's like it has solid income, so I decided I might as well just take that path because
Okay.
it's what's most stable for me.
Okay. The stability is important for you.
I mean, yeah, I want to be able to live a comfortable, like nice life later on without like any issues that come up.
Fair enough. Thank you. Let me see. So, in what parts of being at school have always come easily to you?
I would say science.
Hmm.
Science and art have always come pretty easy to me. I feel like when I was younger, I was very much more like nerdish, if you can say something like that. When I was
Sure.
younger, I used to be very interested in like space and like um what's in there, what could possibly be there, the different like planets that resemble Earth. Like that was very much me when I was younger. I also used to be interested in like for for some reason I used to be interested in like crystals and like rocks and stuff and like what how they looked, what properties they had, and
Yes.
um like their shapes and forms. Anyways, I used to be interested in that. And art, it's just because I started drawing at like a very, very young age. Like I think my dad started making me draw
Mm.
when I was maybe 5 or 6 or like yeah, very young. And I think I learned to like really like it. I like the learning aspect of it. Like I often when I draw, it's not just drawing, it's often trying to like make it better, like make my drawings better and trying to learn the skill of drawing kind of in that sense. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a skill acquisition thing there. There's a sense of learning, a sense of being interested also in the properties of planets. That's quite
Hmm.
cool. What has not come naturally to you at school? What has been more difficult for you?
Oh, I would say my worst subjects at school would probably be English and French. I'm not a big
Mm.
language person. Yeah.
Mm.
I I don't know. It's just it's a lot of memorization, and I know if I actually tried to learn the grammar rules and try to learn all of these like like the structures of like grammar and like things like that, I guess I would probably be fine. It's just I find it very tedious
Yep.
to do it.
Yeah. So structures are linguistic structures are tedious, but there's something about learning and practicing techniques you seem to enjoy a lot more.
Yeah, I do. I would say that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have lots of friends?
Friends, I have a good group. I have a solid group of friends, but I don't tend to go much outside of it. I just like in my friend group, there's probably like in one of my friend groups, there's probably like 8 or 10 to 10 people around that. And my other friend group is like 4 people, but like we all get along. So it's like, yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
But I don't tend to leave that and socialize with like new people. I guess I just stick to what I know.
Okay. And why is that?
Um, well, I don't find it interesting really to go out and like find new people, I guess. It's just like I prefer sticking to people that I know already and just staying with them. It's just a lot easier too. Like going out and like forcing myself to socializing is kind of like I don't know, I just well, when I'm in a new environment, for example, like when I have to make friends and when I have to make a group of people that I need to like hang out with, so I can have like some kind of stability there, I will
Mhm.
go out and I'll talk to people. I'll try to be friendly, I'll try to be as accommodating as possible to get these friends. But once I have that friend group, I don't really like changing it. I stay with
Okay.
them.
There's a certain stability thing there as well.
Hmm.
Stable friend groups and
Yes.
not taking it up very much. Fair enough.
I also really don't like drama between friend groups either. I
Yep.
very much dislike it. Like when people talk behind other people's backs. I first of all, it's rude. I
Yep.
I don't like that. And like I just don't like hearing about like a lot of people they're like, "Oh, did you hear like Jennifer, she did this and that and that." It's like I don't really care. It's like you don't need to tell me these things. It's okay. Yeah.
All right. You see. So, what qualities do you admire in other people that you do not have yourself?
Mm. I would say I admire people that are, how do I say this? That have a goal and they actually act like very like they get what they want kind of thing.
Mm.
Like those people are very, I admire them a lot. Um because I also have ambitions, but I feel like sometimes I'm like too scared to act, or like kind of like in a thinking mode, I guess. Like I always think of like what could happen in like this situation, or what could happen in that situation. And if if there was just like, if I could just act and just like stop thinking about it, that would be like better, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're in that, is that thinking space normal for you that you're typically just very much in your head rather than doing things?
I wouldn't say that. I do act enough. I feel like a lot of my friends consider me a very studious or productive person, but
Yeah.
I don't feel, I feel like I could always be more. Like, you know, like I feel like sometimes like when, especially when it comes to physical things, like for example, I have a job and I am a swimming monitor. I teach kids how to swim, but
Yeah.
to get to that position, I had to do these physical tests, and physical tests they stress me out so much, and it's like I know I'm gonna have to get a requalification sooner or later, but I'm not. I don't feel ready for it, and like my dad's like, "Oh, you should just like do it and get after it, and it's stressful, but I know I have to do it. You know what I mean? I know I have to push for it and like do it eventually." Yeah.
Why are physical tests so stressful for you?
Um because because okay, this is because last time I was doing these physical tests, I struggled very much to, because it's just mostly physical capabilities, and like I wasn't, I guess, like quick enough, or like my technique wasn't right or something, and I would struggle to get the time right when I was swimming. So basically you have to swim 400 meters in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and it was very difficult for me, but after training over and over, like I eventually I got it, but it took like a little bit of help. Like how can I say it? My mom came with me to the pool and she was like, "Okay, well, I'll stay here with you. You practice your thing." So yeah, that's how it was.
Okay. So I guess another question. You asked, sorry, you gave an example of people who go out and get what they want. What's an
Yeah.
example of that to you that you find most admirable? Admirable.
Mm, why is that very admirable?
What's an example of that which you find admirable?
Mm, mm, an example. I'm just trying to think. Oh, okay. Let's
Mhm.
say someone is part of a sports team, right? And they want to win in whatever competition it is. People that are driven and that are like, I will, like they have some kind of confidence. I will uh win this because I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get exactly that. I will win this competition, and then they actually win the competition because they work hard and because they did all these things. I find that very admirable in other people. Yeah.
Right. So you thinking about how things could possibly go differently, does that mean that you then don't actually do the thing? You basically find yourself just sort of thinking about it without actually doing it.
I mean, Like for example, for my schoolwork, I don't feel like doing it, but it's inevitable. I'll have to do it anyways. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I just get it done. And um it's like I feel like I feel like it would be nice to have people like push me when it comes to like more difficult tasks, because I feel like I'm able to do it. I just need some like something to
Some
like yeah,
support or presence of someone to get you over the line.
yeah, I guess. But like most of the time I get it done by myself and I'm able to do so. But I do think it's admirable. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it's something about the will to do it even without support.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay,
Like just
okay,
this confidence that I will achieve this and I'm going to get that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. How do you handle situations of confrontation and conflict with other people?
Um I am very non-confrontational, I
Hmm.
would say. I don't like conflict at all very much. Um, I try to avoid it as much as possible. Like
Mm,
I've had this situation with a friend, and like I felt like I didn't feel good in that situation, but I don't think I ever went up to her and confronted her directly about how I was feeling. I just kind of like I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to ruin this like whole um like I don't want to ruin the peace that we have right now, so I'm just
yep,
not going to say anything. I'll just
yep.
stay like this and it keeps on building. I'll say I yeah, exactly. It's like that.
No, fair enough, fair enough. Hmm. Okay. So I guess another question. You said that you admire the people who have the willpower to go and
Hmm.
actually go out and achieve something without any help. Do you admire that same quality to confront and disrupt the harmony in order to address issues?
In order to address issues,
Yeah, if someone
um,
doesn't like something and they are willing to disrupt the peace and the harmony to confront the person over what they don't like, and then they get what they want as a result. Do you admire that?
I mean, the thing is, when it's in other people, I find that admirable. But when it's in myself, it's just I can't find myself being able to do it for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's like when other people speak their minds, when other people um say what they want directly, like those things are very like I admire that, but it's just
Mm.
I can't find that in myself. Like I don't know, I'm not able to do it
Mm.
like they do.
What qualities in other people frustrate and irritate you?
Uh um I mean, recently, for the past few weeks, like there has been an issue at my home because I tend to be very scattered when it comes to my physical objects, or I forget things or I lose things, and my mom finds that very frustrating. And she's always nitpicking me about it. She's like, "Oh, you keep on forgetting this. You're so like irresponsible. You need to
Mm.
like find your objects, keep track of your stuff, and like all of that." But it's yeah, it's just like it's annoying a little bit because I've been told this thing since I was like a kid. Ever
Mhm.
since I was like very young, I my mom she used to say like, "Oh, you forgot your gloves. Where did you lose them?" Anyways, it's stuff like that. It can be irritating. Yeah.
Right. People reminding you to keep track of things around you, basically, when you're someone who often does lose track of things around you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I will say, like, I think yesterday, I think I had my hair tied kind of like this, but it was like over my ears. And
Yep.
I had one of my friends say, Brianna, can you stop putting your hair over your ears? It's like bothering me. And it's like, why is it bothering you? But anyways, I tied it like however she wanted. But like I don't know why it was bothering her.
That was bothering her, and you changed your hairstyle because your friend was bothered by your hairstyle.
I don't know. She made a scene. She was like, why are you always tying your hair like that? It doesn't look because I do care about how I present myself and like how I look like
Yep.
to people, right? So like I always and then she says it doesn't look right. Like you need to fix that. I was like, okay, I'll fix it. But like it's like why are you I don't know, it's just a little annoying, I guess.
Right. People making those their demands of you, as it were. It's and yeah,
Yeah.
okay. There's a certain pushiness to their. That's the thing. Like, do you? Because on the one hand, the people who achieve these things are often quite pushy. But you don't really like the
Uh
pushiness around you.
pushiness. Um Yeah. So when it comes to being told what to do, for example, like when my dad says, go do this right now,
Yep.
it feels very like I'm doing stuff right now. I can do it later. Like you don't have to like tell I'll say I say I'll do it later and he says no, I want it now. I think my dad is an LSI, if that's what you call it. Yeah, my dad's an LSI and he's very demanding. He's like right now, like
Mm.
anyways. But yeah, so that's what it is.
Okay. So, am I right in saying that the pace of things is something you want to decide for yourself? How things are right now, keep that pace the way you want it to be. And so you don't like, people going in, rushing, making things more to their pace.
Yeah, I don't like having my time controlled, I guess. Like I'll control my own time.
Mhm.
I'll do my I have my own ways of setting my time and I'll
Mm.
just do it however I plan. Yeah.
In what ways can you be a more stubborn person?
What ways can I be more stubborn? Um, I can say, stubborn. Okay, I can be stubborn when I don't want to say something and people are pushing me to like say these things. I can like outright refuse to like say it no matter what, especially when it comes to my own feelings on a subject or something of the sort. I don't have to say it and I won't say it. I'll just yeah, I won't I don't find it mm, yeah, I won't say it. I'm stubborn in that sense when it comes to that. Also, I do have a friend that said like she was in a group project with me and everyone was discussing about different ways we could do this project, right? And a lot of people were doing it one way and I was like okay, like most people are doing it this way, so it must be the correct way to be doing this thing. It must be like, oh, we should do it this way. And then my friend was like, no, I'm not sure if we're supposed to do it this way. We can do it like um like the instructions didn't say this or that or that. But I said, but most people are doing this and like they they have the right like they have the right train of thought or whatever. So I decided to go with like what I could see was like other people were working with. So I was using that method and then my friend was trying to change my mind on the other, but I was kind of stubborn in that sense. Like I didn't want to like I was hearing her out, but I guess I was like more on the proof like there's people doing this like around us, right? So we're gonna stick to this way. And
Was it
and
do what other people are doing?
uh well, it's more like because like most people are doing it, so I assumed that it was right because yeah, so I assumed that it would be the right way because if a lot of people are doing it and we have a lot of smart people in our school, and I was like, okay, well, these people are doing these things, so I should probably um do that too, you know.
Thank you. You said that you think about how you come across to others. Is that
Yes.
a very prevalent mode of thought for you? Are you often thinking, okay, how am I coming across? How do I think about how my words land with people? Is that something you give a lot of mental attention to?
Um yeah, I would say so. I do care about how I come across to others. I try to appear nice. I try
Mhm.
to appear like um in these ways, and I try to look as presentable and as good as possible.
Hmm.
So yeah, exactly. So like I do care about like presenting myself as yeah, in a certain way that looks good.
Thank you. Let me see. What are some of your, you said that you used to be quite nerdy. Why are
Yeah.
you no longer so nerdy?
Mm, I mean, I still have some things that are kind of like nerdy, I guess. Like first I do like for example typology, I have been into it for a long time and I like reading about it. I read some um like for example the IMEs or like I've watched some of your videos like
Oh,
about
thank you.
like yes about
Mhm.
like socionics and like how it works and stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So in that sense I can still when I learn about a subject I like to learn it fully, you know,
Yeah.
like I like to learn the subject. So when I was learning like for example my art skills, right, I would look into techniques of how to draw like this method or this method, and then I would try to like combine and make what works for me, like try out these different methods, learning like the technical kind of aspect of drawing. I do that like a lot of, and I say like a lot of people they just say, oh, draw like your feelings or like something like that, but I'm not kind of like that kind of person. I'm more like I just like to draw because I'm creating something that looks nice, and I'm learning like the technical aspects of it or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a sense of formality to how you like to understand things, whether that's understanding the
Hmm.
model entirely, or in terms to painting, it's not anyway, it's not arbitrary. It is a question of when you're learning techniques, are you acquiring lots of different ways of doing it, where you can do it, and the more ways you can do it, the better, or is it more, I want to find the technique, the way of doing it?
um it's more like a learning process, I would say. I accumulate a lot of, like for example I've accumulated a lot of different ways if of doing things, and if one way I find that this thing is not necessarily like working for me, I will change to another, um and I will try it like I will try that way. And then like at some point I created like my own technique or whatever by combining some things that I've seen in multiple techniques, and I tried to make my own way of doing it. For example, the structure of the face.
Hmm. Yeah.
There is like the Loomis method, and then there's like this method and that method, and I keep in mind all of these methods, and I just use what works best for me. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Okay. So, how does that square with the situation you described before, where everyone in the class was doing one way of doing it, and then your friend was saying, "But we could also do it like this, we could also do it like this," and you basically said, "No, we're doing it like everyone else."
Because I think in that moment I thought that um because the person that was saying we should do it like this and that I followed, she does very well in school. She seems to know what she talks about very much, very often. And there's like a lot of people, like when there's a huge collective of like smart people that know what they're doing, that are doing this thing, I will assume that that is a correct way of doing things, and that we should probably apply that to ourselves too, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, thank you. Is it easy for you to trust other people?
No. Not really, I wouldn't say. I find that it takes a lot of time for me to actually trust in a person. Um, yeah, I have like, yeah, I don't find it easy to trust other people.
Hmm. Is that because people are difficult for you to read, or because you are just a very discerning person?
I think it's because yes, people are difficult to read. People, their feelings change often. I don't like that. I
Mhm.
don't like for example, my sister. Oh my goodness, my sister. She has a friend she had this huge fight with, and she was telling me about it. I was like, okay, well, you have this like fight with your friend. Yeah. And then like 4 weeks later, she was really mad about it. She was very angry. And then 4 weeks later, she came to me and she was like, "Oh, we're best friends again." It's like why are we changing? Like it's because people change their feelings often, and I find that very like destabilizing or something like that. So I just
Mm,
yeah, I don't
yeah.
I don't trust it on the in like a long term way. Like yeah.
Does that make you very selective in terms of your friend circles?
Um I'm not selective because I do know that it's important to have a social circle. I do know like the benefits that come with it. Um but I would say people that I let close to me, I'm very picky, and at the moment I have no one that I consider close to me. Um yeah. Yeah, so like I just have like this group of people around, and I don't let people very close to me often because I'm selective with it.
Right. So you have friend circles. There are lots of people who are, friends, but you don't have really many cl any close friends because none of them are quite stable enough in terms of their attitudes and how they treat you for you to justify making them really close.
I would say like there is one friend that I have
Mm.
been talking to a lot more than other people, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I would I don't know if they're a close friend. Yeah, they're a friend, but like I'm not sure.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. So is it right for me to say that knowing where you stand with others is not an air of confidence for you?
Um yeah, you could say that. That would
What
make
would
sense.
what would be an area of confidence for you?
An area of confidence for me, um I feel like for a lot of my life I've just always been I plan and I do, I plan and I do, I plan and I do, kind of like that. That's something I guess I could be confident in because yeah. ever since like I was younger, I've always been planning and I've always been doing things that I think would be beneficial for me later on, you know? So I think that's what I do pretty often. Yeah.
Right. You did mention that you're seen by others as quite studious.
Yeah, yes, people do see me as, I don't know why, but people do see me as kind of nerdish or like studious or quiet or some, and they see me in this way. Um and also because I tend to be like non-confrontational, I guess. They see me like that too. They see me as kind of
Mm.
passive, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So seen as quite passive. There's a lot of planning. What sort of things that you're planning for?
Planning for?
Yeah.
Well, I am I am planning on like my studies later
Mm.
on at the
Mm.
moment. Um and I just hope that like it will work out. I mean, I'm working towards it. I'm working towards getting good good enough grades, focused on like the stuff I have to do right now so
Hmm.
that later on like it will all fall out and it will lead me to getting into the program that I want to in university.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
To be a doctor.
I'm planning on dentist, but like just
Oh, dentist.
yeah, things
Mm.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you
But
like
there
go on?
oh sorry. Okay.
Can you say something?
Um there is this like of like I think I just made up my mind recently that I was going to go into dentistry, but it was a pretty um like I had to decide on that because before I was looking at all of these possibilities of things that I could be doing, and like I know that I'm not necessarily a very how can I say this, warm people kind of like person, I guess. So I didn't know if like going into the medical field would be right for me, but I decided that I would have to take what benefits me more in in the long run. I would have to choose the medical field over um like other things just because of the fact that it's going to be better for me later on. So it was a
Mm.
choice I made like pretty recently, I think.
Gotcha. You say you don't feel you're the most warm person when it comes to interacting with others. Why is that?
Um I mean, I try to appear very friendly because I don't like causing issues with other people. I really dislike that. Um but I don't know, I just tend to be a lot more rational, maybe like a lot like I don't know, I just not that in tune with my feelings, I guess, if you can say that. So I don't know, I'm not a very like warm or some person like that. Yeah.
What do you like to do to relax?
To relax, mm, i mean I mean after school every day I do have a period of time when I come home that I kind of go on my phone and I watch videos. I guess that could be relaxing. Um Sometimes I work on hobbies like for example researching about typology or um sometimes I like to do art, but
Hmm.
my hobbies they're not varied. They usually always stay pretty consistent. Like stay consistent in my hobbies. I don't really go out to try other hobbies. I don't think. Yeah.
And when you say you don't go out to try other hobbies, is that the same with interests in general. You don't get interested in many other new things.
Yeah. When I'm interested in something, it's like I'm very focused on this one thing.
Hmm.
So I don't find it interesting to really go explore other things. Like, yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay. Let's see. So so far it seems as though you'd be more of a logical type, and um, it makes sense to say that you are interested in how you're coming across to people and pay attention to that. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
a strength of yours so much as something which you're quite adaptive to with other people. You know that people are perceiving you so way, so you make sure that you come across the way you need to be perceived. Right.
Yes.
So already we can say logical, but not
Mm-hmm.
only logical, your logic is the area of stubbornness. How things work, how things fit together, how things are meant to make sense, how it needs to be essentially is going to be what you're deciding. And how you come across, how people need to relate to each other, etc. That's more something for others to really decide. And you're there to make sure that you're not falling afoul of it. You're adapting to that. Um,
Yeah.
which means that logic is in your leading function. The question is which one? Now, it's interesting what you were saying about people, how it's
Mm-hmm.
annoying to you how people have all these moods and passions and expressions, which you'll try to adapt to. But if it means that people treat you differently depending on their mood, that's very annoying. And while you are aware of a need for certain almost transactional social circles, you're not sure who to let really close because you're not sure who's actually stable in their attitudes or in their behavior reflecting their attitudes. I
Mm-hmm.
also recall when you're talking about drawing, it's not that there's
Yeah.
one definition way of doing things, you are acquiring approaches, how things work, which suggests to
Mm-hmm.
me, and again, you're often planning. I think it's a pragmatic approach rather than a set structural approach. It's pragmatism, doing things effectively and well, getting new methodologies, combining them together to be more effective when it comes to the drawing and when it comes to other
Mm-hmm.
things. So already we can say that extroverted logic makes sense as a leading function. We can
Mm-hmm.
also say that extroverted ethics makes sense as a role function. That's sort of the mask you put on, the social blending side of things. You're not falling foul of it. It's not you're not sticking out like a sore thumb because you're not aware of how you're coming across to people. You are aware. You're not very skillful at it, but you know how to adapt to it. And when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to that sort of more genuine showing warmth, you can do it enough, but you'd rather not have to. You'd rather focus on how things are actually working, practically speaking. Is it actually effective? Um, that means that the introverted ethics is the suggestive function. That's really what we need from someone else, a sense of knowing where you stand with people because they got that integrity and sincerity in terms of how they treat you based on their attitudes towards you. So you almost want
Yeah.
them to create the right level of intimacy and closeness with you. You're kind of waiting for that person to do it. You're not quite sure yourself how close to make people, but I can have this relationship works and I blend in, so fine. But you want that
Mm-hmm.
intimacy from someone, it seems.
Yes. I
Introverted logic.
agree. Yes.
Introverted logic is the tedious part. You can think
Mm.
structurally, but when it comes to language structures and rules and all these other sorts of things and how they go together, it's annoying. You'd much
Yeah.
rather it be practical and be put into practice and working out techniques for how to do this well, rather than, no, no, this word is not right because of this is in the wrong declension, sort of thing.
Yeah. I also find details very annoying. Like when I am writing a text, for example, I find it like it's a hassle to go read over it and try to pick out tiny mistakes that I've made, like, and it's just not my thing. I don't enjoy details a lot. Like I know like a lot of I two of my friends, okay, when they're drawing, they take so much time on every little um tiny line that they make. They erase, they redraw, they erase, they redraw. For me, it's more like, okay, well, here's the structure of the thing. I'm gonna try to practice it. Okay, I see what I did wrong. I'm not gonna erase it. I'm going to draw a new one, and I'm just gonna like redo the whole thing. And it's kind of always like that, instead of like nitpicking at that tiny that annoys me very much.
Right.
I prefer things going quicker, I guess.
Phone's going, okay, so there's certain impatience and not wanting to get caught up in the weeds of the details of what you're doing.
Yeah, very
Very
much.
useful. And and also you're someone who has struggled to keep track of things in your physical space,
Yes.
which suggests sensation actually isn't actually that strong. Um, it's interesting that and it takes us back to the first part, which is, you actually admire people who have that sort of strength of will to push through and do things themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't like to create conflict because, and I imagine that's actually, it's less to do with needing things to be peaceful in and of itself, but more there are risks in actually making things unpleasant. And what's the practical need for it anyway? What's the point of all this drama? But
Mm-hmm.
you almost what? But the people who can actually be pushy for themselves and going out and securing what they want, that's something which you actually admire. You didn't push back on me when I was suggesting that. So,
Yeah.
and you mentioned quite early on, you're thinking about, how could it go this way? Could it go this way? Could it go rather than actually just doing it whilst you have that impatience? That leads me to believe that LIE is the most likely typing for you.
LIE.
Yeah.
I've actually thought of that one before. It's been an option like in the back of my brain, yeah.
Mm. And I can go a bit more into that as well. So LIEs, they are socially. I'll explain the logic and the ethics to you already. The introverted intuition blocks with the extroverted logic. So it's not just about okay how things work and how it's done. It's more about okay what is that leading to? Where is that in the trajectory of my life? What is that strategically speaking? How's this gonna doing now gonna place me later? And they think of
Mm-hmm.
things in terms of that very, very well. They, although they can cast a very broad net and they can take interest in more and more things because their extrovert intuition is actually very strong, they
Mm-hmm.
aren't interested in doing that for its own sake.
Mm-hmm.
They actually would rather things were more narrow, but despite themselves, they find themselves actually speculating on all the different possibilities quite a lot.
Yeah, I do agree with that, especially when it comes to people. Like I can always try to imagine how would this, like I imagine all the possibilities of what could be happening with this interaction, or like all of these things. I imagine like many possibilities very often, actually.
Hmm.
um but yeah, so I do find myself looking at different things, like yesterday I was actually imagining this conversation that we're having right now. That I was explaining, like this part, I actually imagined this yesterday, like
Hmm.
when I was preparing for it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There is that sense in them that, okay, they naturally, especially when they're even younger, they start off more interested in lots of different possibilities. But that's because they want to collapse those down towards, okay, what are the most meaningful interests that are leading to things I'm invested in? And that's when the extrovert intuition is funneled through their introverted intuition. Um, in terms of a sensory world, they they don't have an appreciation for the day-to-day details and how that fits together and creates harmonious they're not experiential, they're not embodied in their experience of a day-to-day. They're more in their heads. What they really want to be is acting decisively in order to achieve, in order to, put to apply their willpower to get what they want. And they want to be accomplishing more and more and more. But what they don't like about themselves is that they find themselves questioning and speculating because they're not sure enough. and they want
Yeah.
to be confident enough in that moment to be decisive, to take things forward. They
Mm-hmm.
want to be independently achieving. So they admire that in others. They want to do it themselves though, and they don't like people dictating what to do in their space. They'd rather have they prefer if they had the strength of will to decide for themselves what they are doing in their space at any moment.
Yeah, I agree with
Independence
that.
is very important to them. An ILI, on the other hand, the introverted version, would be more receptive to someone saying, "No, I need it now," and they'd respond to that urgency. You'd rather be able to create your own urgency.
What was it about the ILI? Could you repeat that part? I
Yeah,
didn't hear
if
very well.
someone says, "I want this now," and that's not just there's a reason why it ought to be. It's no, I want this now. I'm applying pressure on you now. Respond to it. An
Mm-hmm.
ILI would respond to that quite well because their suggestive function is extrovert sensation. So it's receptive. It responds to the other person's demand. For an LIE, it's a mobilizing function. So like they don't like that. They want to be the ones who actually are creating their own urgency and pressure. They don't want to be responding to someone else's pressure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem is that their ability to create pressure is sort of weak and developing, especially when they're younger, which is why in
Yeah.
LIE, when they're not as developed because they're younger, they're more in the okay, speculative space. Like, what could I be doing? What are the possibilities? What they want to be is in
Mhm.
that more active, decisive space, and they'll grow into that
Um,
over time.
I also have this thing when people tell me to do something, I will always ask for a reason why they're telling me to do this. Because if they don't have a good reason or they can't justify what they're asking me to do, then I really don't want to do it in the
Yeah.
in like the first place. So
It's
yeah.
important to you to understand what it is in its own merits rather than just doing it because it's expected.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
No. Yeah. So that's the LIE typing. Is that all making sense for you?
Um, I think it is. It's just for the SI vulnerable part. It's
Yes.
like I feel like I still do a lot of SI things in like my day-to-day life. For example, um I would like for example right before going to bed, I would probably want to create like a comfortable environment for me to go to sleep in. Like I
Okay.
would create like for example like I would put pillows here and there and I would put a blanket and then I would be like, okay, this is good, like I can sleep in this, like this is comfortable. Also, like for example, when it comes to food, I do enjoy like a good meal, I guess, like a good meal that tastes good, I guess you could
Mm.
say that. um like I can enjoy these like sensory things. I think it is possible for me
Okay.
to.
No, we should dive into that more. When it comes to you creating that comfortable space, you say you're arranging your pillows, you're making sure that yeah, your blanket is on there. Is that because it needs to be it's important for you to have nice experiences in that moment?
I think it depends on the day. I don't know. It's like sometimes I will go into my bed and I don't even think about how my bed feels, but then other days it's like I focus on it. Like I go on these like on and off things. Like some days I try to I'm really focused on like the things that are around me. Like I kind of try to do it like that. Like today, I want to be productive in like the YouTube way. Like for example, on YouTube, you'll see all of these people.
Mhm.
They, for example, they wake up, they do their skincare, they clean their rooms, they do all of these things, sensory kind of things, and I'm like, okay, if I want to like get the same outcomes there, maybe I should try acting like how they're doing it. And then like some days I will try to replicate that. make certain things certain ways. But on most days, I feel like I would just go into my bed and I wouldn't really think about it. But
Right.
sometimes I
Right.
do. But like it's like on and off.
So,
It's like
so,
complicated.
so the key thing is this: is this coming from you, or are you watching YouTube videos where people are doing these things and you're trying to replicate that? Um, is it coming from you or not?
I would say like for example, I actually do take like okay, I take advice from like other people when it comes to things like that too. Like if people say like, "Oh, you are using your rough blanket and you're putting your soft blanket on top. You should probably take the soft blanket, put it under and put the rough one on top so it's more comfortable for you." I was like, "Oh, never thought of that. Maybe I should do it myself and then it would make it more comfortable." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Okay, sure. Might as well if it's better."
Okay. It didn't occur to you to think of that yourself. That's interesting.
I didn't I didn't think of that myself. I was just like,
Mm.
"Oh, well, I guess I can do that." And that would be but that would actually be more comfortable.
Mm.
So I did that.
Are you yourself you're being told what's comfortable and what's not comfortable? Are you yourself engaging with what's comfortable and not comfortable? And that's it. This is the complexity here. One, because you're just, am I right in saying you're 17, 18?
I am like 17.
Right.
Yeah.
You're still at an approach where you're working out your identity. You're
Mm,
working out who you are, what you're about. You're still learning and trying to craft this. You're still in that point where you're crafting your unique identity as someone independent from your parents and how they've raised you to be. So you'll go to other sources like YouTube and you start think, okay, maybe I'm this person, maybe I'm this, and you can try those things on to think what actually
mm,
works for you internally. So this is why I'm trying to really dive deep. When you met you mentioned the viewing of YouTube videos in terms of, oh, you can do it this way, you can do it that way. So I'm wondering,
mm,
that's why I think, is it coming from you or is it part of you trying to navigate this and apply this information to your life without it actually being, okay, I need my environment to actually be comfortable.
mm. Um, I mean, I do like, for example, I do clean my room when I feel like I need to study.
Yep.
And I feel like it's just having a clean environment without distractions will make me work better. So I
Yep.
will clean my room in that situation because because that's what makes me work better. I guess you can say that.
Yeah. Well, I will say that the LIE is a type which is quite stubborn in their sensation. So they want
Mm-hmm.
their environment to be according to their terms.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want people bossing them around. They want to be the ones who are taking the initiative in their space. It needs to happen the way they want it. The things around them wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
if they were to form an opinion of it, it needs to be the way they want it, not for other people to go into their space and move things around. But the key thing is they're not confident at processing this information, keeping track of things themselves, and they are motivated towards intensity, towards, okay, what actually is accomplishing things and getting things done and just going at it fully, as opposed to keeping a natural equilibrium and balance
Mm-hmm.
and niceness in the experience in and of itself.
I would say that sometimes I can find myself afraid of very intense things, but like for example, it has to do a lot with like my physical like body when I'm really pushing. I can push myself mentally when I have to. Like I have to work, well, I'll do my work. I have to do
Yes.
this, well, I guess I'll have to do it. I'll do it anyways.
Yes.
People consider me very productive in that sense, but when it comes to like actually physically doing things, I can find myself like shying away from like very intense like activities and things like that because I
Yes.
don't think I'm very capable at doing these like very intense things,
Right,
you know?
right. And here's a crucial thing here. Are you shying away because you don't like intensity, or are you shying away because you think the intensity is too much for you to handle right now?
Hmm. I feel like it's like um it's hard to say. Because like for example, I also do taekwondo. I do martial arts. Um
Was that
and
your decision or your dad or your mum deciding you do taekwondo martial
I
arts?
mean for for me it was more like a replacement for cadets because I really didn't like cadets. Like
Why
I
didn't you
really
like
didn't.
cadets? Why didn't you like cadets?
I didn't like cadets because I don't know. I just like the people there. I wasn't a fan of the people in like in cadets and like. I mean, I did like shooting. That was very fun because like I had a coach that was training me to like shoot and they're teaching me these like techniques and like different like
Yeah.
things like and I
Shooting's
ended up
loud.
being huh
Shooting's loud.
shooting. I mean, we used air rifles, so it wasn't really that bad.
There's no bangs going off.
I mean, there are some bangs, yeah, and I didn't
Right.
mind that. Yeah, it was pretty,
Sure.
and I was pretty good at it because I actually worked to being good at it, and I focused myself, and like I won some medals and things like that in shooting.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the drill. I guess you could say that, like drill, just having to stand there waiting for orders.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly. The aspects of cadets which you don't like are exactly the things which an LIE wouldn't like. Because people are
uh,
deciding what you are doing at any moment and setting out an
yeah,
order for you to follow for the sake of convergence with everyone else. Whereas shooting, it's about your skills, what you can do in terms of your
yeah,
own
yeah,
competence.
yeah. I agree with that.
Taekwondo is an intense
Hmm.
environment. It is a fighting
Yeah,
environment where you are learning skills and techniques to defend yourself. You could be kicked in the face in Taekwondo,
yeah.
right?
You could.
But you're learning techniques of how to defend yourself. And so that
Yes.
makes me think, right? It's not that you don't value the intensity of extroverted sensation. It's
Hmm.
that you cannot take on too much extroverted sensation right now. It is a weak function. You are
Hmm.
17 years old, right?
Yeah.
To increase, this is an area you need to increase and grow in and expand in over time. And so
Hmm.
the reason you'll shy away from things is because, okay, this is quite important. My ego is kind of attached to my ability to handle this. I'm not ready to take on that sort of stuff. I don't want to hurt my ego
Hmm.
by going into something which I care about and attach my self-worth to, but it is too much for me. I'm just going to fail that right now. So I'm going to shy away from that. It's too important to me to just go into something that's obviously too much. But the point is, that's something to grow in and take really seriously in growing and developing yourself.
Hmm. Because I also find myself like for example swimming when I really last time I was doing swimming and I had to do that 400-meter test. I was extremely stressed out during that whole situation because I
Yeah,
wasn't able to get it in time.
yeah,
And it was really stressful. And I think it's just the fact that I wasn't able to handle it. It's making me scared to do it later on because I know I'll have to um like I know I'll have to go through that struggle again. And like I usually try to I think of problems that might arise and I try to avoid them as much as possible.
hmm
So when I know that it's inevitable, I'll have to face it eventually. I'll have to face this challenge. It's kind of like, will I be able to do that
yeah,
again? Go through this
yeah.
whole. process again. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking LIE at the moment, but I think it's worthwhile
Okay.
us doing. You've seen my videos. Have you seen ENTJ explained correctly?
Yes, I have. I
All right.
have.
Good. Let's give it some time just to process, think about it. Let's get
Mm-hmm.
will you send a link to book a follow-up session?
Yes.
Good.
You sent me the link.
It would have come to you automatically once you booked. So good. What I
Mm-hmm.
think is let's get the follow-up session in. Let's give you maybe a few days, maybe a week to think it over.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk it through, see if it still works or not. And if it doesn't work, we'll think of something else.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Thank you for booking, Brianna. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, thank you. You too.